So this was a place that I'd found by looking on Airbnb, or maybe it was Airbnb, and then we looked for places that had car charging points, and I wrote to him and said, can I charge my car there? And he said, yeah, no problem. When we got there, it was on the outskirts of Jaen. It was a very, very steep drive to go down, and the car parking was incredibly tight. But it was a lovely host who actually taxied us out to the nearest restaurant in the evening and back. The car was, even though it was only I had to use my granny cable, it fully charged, and we were able to set off the next morning for Fuengirola. So on our way to Benalmadena in the morning, where we were actually staying, we decided to stop at the Malaga high-speed charger, get the car up to 100%, and then we wouldn't need to recharge all the time we were there. Well, the CCS didn't work. I called the help desk. They kept going on about my account, which I said, well, it's not an issue with the account. I used my Shell card. The payment went okay, it's just the machine's faulty. They wouldn't accept the machine was faulty, but then I proved it by plugging in the Type 2 cable, and it did work. So this was the start of our Endesa JuicePass problems. I downloaded the app, but it was impossible to add a card to pay, and that took them, they accepted that there was a problem with the software, but it took 3 or 4 days to resolve, which makes you wonder how do other people manage if they don't have the RFID card. And then we went on to Benalmadena, and weirdly we booked a place with booking.com. It was like an Airbnb, but the guy didn't turn up, and the property address didn't match the coordinates and various other things, so we had to find another place in nearby, which we did with Airbnb, went there, but unfortunately that had no charging for car facility, which the other one said it had, but it wasn't too much of a problem. In Fuengirola itself, you've not got a lot of choice really for places to charge, and the easiest one was the parking in the Plaza de la Constitution in the centre. You had to park underneath, but the charging was free. You just paid for your car parking. So if you'd had a Renault Zoe, you could have got 22 kilowatt an hour pumped in, but unfortunately on mine, you could only get 7. I had to look around while I was there, and I noticed McDonald's are putting in a charger. It's not connected up yet. IB de Roller are looking after it. Noticed a spelling mistake on the front of it. Said it was McDonald's Happy Change, not Charge. So I don't know if they're going to fix that, or if they've got 500 machines with a spelling mistake. But hopefully this should be ready for the winter when I come back. Okay, so a week later, and we're leaving Fuengirola with a full charge and going up to Manzanares to stay at a hotel. There is no need to recharge, but we thought we'd check out a few places that Endesa say they'd installed, and so we thought, well, we'll check them out to see if they work for the way back. So the first place we stopped was Bailen, north of Jaen. I went up to it, the charge point, used my app, told them I wanted to use the CCS plug. It said okay, unplugged the thing, connected it to the car. It said it was charging. I waited 10 minutes, nothing happened. So I tried to stop the charge to get it to restart, but the app wouldn't let me. It refused to release the charging session. So I just unplugged it, called the help desk, which, as per usual, nobody answered. In fact, you get a message saying that the the number is unobtainable or does not exist. And then, so I went on to the further up the road. Well, when I went up the road to a place called Andamur, about 15, 20 kilometres further up the road, the app still thought I was connected back in Bailen, so it wouldn't let me go any further. By then, I'd received an email response from the help desk saying that they'd release me and I could now recharge at the place in Bailen. I said, well, I've already left there. What do you think I'm going to do? So I decided it was crap and decided to carry on. So up the road to another place called Santa Cruz de Mudela, which has got a hotel. So it could be a convenient place to stop, fast charging, etc. But though they'd now released me from, or released the software, so I could charge again, the app could not communicate with the charge point. This is a problem in these areas because if you've got a dodgy internet connection, the app won't work. If there's a problem with the machine, it won't work. I don't see why they just can't have a simple credit card slot where you put it in, you pay whatever it costs, and then just charge your car. It just seems unnecessarily complex. But anyway, this was another fail for Endesa JuicePass. So now 4 out of 4 attempts and a fail every time. So we drove on from Santa Cruz de Mudela and switched off the aircon just to be on the safe side. We didn't really need to. And end up at Hotel El Cruz. Hotel, I'd stayed at before without an electric car, but I knew that it had a charge point. You can see them here. It's one on the left-hand side. It's a good hotel, aircon, like most Spanish hotels, good big beds. There was a large swimming pool, which I didn't know existed. So we were able to charge 100%. There was the restaurant was being refurbed, but they were serving meals outside, very cheap, good quality. So that was all fine, and we had 100% next morning to set off. So the next stage was a fairly big leg from Manzanares to Burgos, and we had to drive through Madrid. So we decided to stop before we got to Madrid just to put some juice in, and then we would stop again at Miranda de Duero if we needed to. We didn't really need to, but so just to stop anyway and see what the charges were like. So as we approached Madrid and the north of Spain, there were more chargers and they were better quality. The Iberderola ones are very good, they're fast, and they also work with the Shell charge card or the New Motion charge card, or you can just take a QR code photo with your phone and then pay by credit card. No contactless payment option, which to me seems bizarre, but anyway. It charged very quickly. We were able to go and have a cup of tea. So we were there about 30 minutes. And then we pressed on. I drove through Madrid. So after leaving Madrid, we did stop at another Endesa place, but there the plugs wouldn't unlock from the machine, so that was another disaster. So that's 5 we tried and 5 that failed. I don't know if they make any money at all. And so we went on to Miranda de Duero, and as you can see, there was this Avia painted charge point with a Iberderola running it, so it just worked with the Shell charge card. We've put it up to, I think, about 80%. And nice little friendly garage. They told us there was a better cafe to sit and drink in around the corner, but we thought, well, we're not going to be here long, so we just did what we had to do, and then went on to Burgos. Okay, so we arrived at Burgos about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The picture you can see is of the amazing kitchen with the wood-fired oven, and I've put a little clip about the menu there. The hotel was fantastic. It was the same quality as a Parador, but huge rooms, brilliant restaurant, nice cafe, everything you could want. And I'd written to them and asked about the car charging, could I reserve it? And they hadn't properly replied. But when we got there, we said we want to charge a car. They showed us where the car park was. You had to go on a very narrow drive to get into it. And the car park was, well, it was just dark, really. I had to use my phone and the headlights to see where I was going and where the charge point was. We plugged it in, it didn't start charging, so my wife went up to reception, asked them what to do. They said, well, you need the card. And she said, well, where's the card? They went, oh, yes. So they came down with the card, swiped it, and off it went charging for free. So that was good. And the only problem was there was some arcane code to get down to the garage using the lift. But we had a great meal and very nice room, very comfortable bed. And so we set off for France the next morning. It was right next to the motorway with 100% in the batteries. So the next one was a fair journey from Burgos to just to the south of Bordeaux. So 437 kilometres. Just when we got over the French border, there was an a service station. So we planned to stop there, charge the car, have a little bit of a break, and then carry on. It was a Sunday, so that was good. Actually, it was a Saturday, but they meant the lorries were coming off the road because they can't drive on a Sunday. They were all filling up the service stations. Weather was brilliant. So this was our first stop once we crossed the border. There was plenty of Ionity charging stations. Interestingly, there was an option that you could charge at a slower speed for a slower rate rather than the 80 centimes a kilowatt hour, which they do charge. But having said that, they charge incredibly quickly. As you can see on the bottom left-hand picture, it was coming in at 74 kilowatt an hour. So you can just fill up and go. I don't charge very often on these public chargers. Most of the time it's free from my solar panels. So I'm not going to begrudge the cost in a year for the convenience. But it was great. We had the aircon on while it was charging, so the car kept nice and cool. And then we went on to our hotel. Okay, so we arrived at the hotel Au Comte d'Ornon in the afternoon, and we were one of the first guests there. She'd reserved the space for me, which was a non-Tesla charging space on the right. And then later on, as you can see, there's a Tesla in the Tesla point to the left. And they're very close to the motorway. The hotel was packed, at a good restaurant, and the other rooms were noticeably smaller than Spain. The aircon worked, and the staff were friendly. So that was great. And the charging was just literally plug in, and it worked.